Hello, 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 everybody. I do apologize for being late. I am here. Wow, it has been a day already. I have been up, out, and busy, and wow, it's been a little hectic today, and I apologize for being late. Um, I am, but I'm not ready. I don't have everything around me as normal, as usual, per usual, um, because I just got back in the house. I have been back in the house long enough to come here. So let me say again, whew, good morning, sis. Hugs. Sorry, I was rushing before. So good morning to everybody. Welcome. Hi, BB. How are you? Good morning, hugs. I welcome everybody in to the den. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. I really do. Ah, good morning. Good morning, my Michelle. Hugs to you. Okay, so welcoming everybody, and the numbers are rising. We are happy about that. Not rushing through the day. I didn't intend to be here very long, but there are a couple of important things that I wanted to talk about. And believe it or not, I prepared myself in advance. I did this last night, not today. I had no idea today was going the way it was going, but somehow or another, somebody must have seen it playing out. So he had me to prepare this last night. So, what is in your cup? And today is the day of curiosities. So, yes, the girl has her notes. Yes, the girl has her notes. So, what's in your cup today? I did get back in time to make my coffee. I do have my coffee. I screwed my top on the wrong way, but it's okay. We can fix that. I'm right handed and I screwed it on as if I were a lefty. And I don't generally pick up my coffee mug from the left side. So now we're straight. Ta and da. And yes, Michelle, I have a bottle and 2/3 of water. I'm not taking my medicine yet because I had to get out early, and I didn't want one of my pills is a fluid pill. I don't want to be out there and having to go right over there because that would have not been so pretty. But I do have my 20 ounces of espresso, great value espresso blend. And today I upped my creamer. If you all know, I had been reducing it. I went all the way back up to 18 ounces of creamer. I need the sugar. I need the boost. That tastes amazing. I did add my pinch of salt and my drip of vanilla, thanks to Michelle. And it does take the bite off of the espresso. When she first gave me that little pinch, I was like, I don't get it. I know sugar and salt cancel each other out, but with just a pinch of salt, it shouldn't cancel out so much. And the vanilla, sometimes I use French vanilla creamer. So I'm thinking it'll give it a strong vanilla taste or just a boost in the vanilla. It doesn't either. What it does for me is takes that strong bite off of espresso or really strong coffees. It does not take away the effect, but it takes away that strong taste. And it's perfect. So, looking at my notes. And I will also be drinking juice today. I have my guava mango juice. Yum, 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 and yum some more. Okay, so I want to talk to you about challenges. I did not get back in time to put everybody in the show notes. Please check out my community page. One person is here, and I can tell you that she's going to be second on the list. One is the square challenge that I had out for you guys. 2 of the videos have been dropped. The other two squares, the tutorials for those squares have been dropped already. The other 2 should be coming today, no later than tomorrow. I have decided right now I'm just pushing everything through without consulting Canva. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if me trying to fix something, I pick some options I should not have picked. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I do know that I can make the video and upload it straight to YouTube. So that's what we're going to do for the time being. It just means that I got to put a little more work in that I had eliminated before, like the intro, the outro, those types of things, but it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. So the 12-inch square, I'm going to show you a different 12-inch square than what I had in mind. I've not had time to go back and duplicate the square that I have. So I'm going to pick a very simple one, or if you find a 12-inch square that you like, you can, guys, there's so many free patterns for squares out here. There really are. But my suggestions to you are just that. What am I talking about? The challenge. Okay. The challenge that I set forth is that you make a blanket a month using a series of 7-inch squares. What I've been doing, and if you want different size squares and make different size blankets, fine. Just as long as you do it within the month. In the first full week of the month, I will be introducing 4 7-inch squares. Most of the ones that I have created, some of them that I've gotten from other places, but I will give you that information if I use one of those squares. Or you can make a blanket for the year. And what you would do is make a 12-inch square each month, and at the end of the year, assemble them and you have your blanket. The other thing that I have decided to do for me is make a weekly blanket. Now, this is where I was not prepared. My weekly blanket so far is the blanket for my grandson. I did get the blue added. It's not going to be very large, but it's not going to be this small. What I have left to add is the sea turtle green. Of course, it's not in there. What I have left to add is the sea turtle green, and I don't remember what the outer color was going to be, but I'm pretty sure, here it is, right here, close to the outer color, black. So the sea turtle green and the black, and what I wanted to do to break those dark colors up was add a round of white. But it's coming along very well. It really is. Okay, that would be great. Assembling them as you go, Joan, that is a really, really good idea, and it keeps you from having to do all of it at the end. That's an amazing idea. So yes, this is what we have as far as that is concerned. Now, the other challenge that I have become a part of, and I'm super excited, and I'm going to ask Michelle to give me a yes or no if progress can be shown. I know that I can tell you all about it, but I don't know if progress can be shown. So what it is, it's the Carpenter's Wheel blanket, or the Carpenter's Wheel challenge. If you can't wait for me to post it in the community post, you can go back and check the live on Tuesday. I do have the information in the description box there, letting you know where to go to check that out. And guys, it is an absolutely beautiful blanket. I have looked at it many times in my life and determined just by looking at it that it was super hard. And at the times that I looked at it, I wasn't willing to tackle that project. I got the go ahead, guys. I got the go ahead. So I looked it up. I downloaded the pattern and everything. It's a free pattern, guys. It's a free pattern. And even though I messed up on one square here, I started yesterday. And as I was getting everything together, I realized that some of my alphabets were not allowing me to go as far as I wanted to go with the math. It's a lot of geometry here, but it's not hard. And I was making it hard. But anyway, this is the square. I had to recreate the square because when I was doing my colors, when I was figuring out how I needed, hey, Marcia, how are you? Hugs to you. So as I was figuring out what I needed, I started out making the wrong color. And I was not going to frog that. I was not. And I was not going to start a fifth time. So, okay, we got a whole lot going on over here. Thank you. So, what I decided to do was go back and reconfigure my colors, not the blanket, but my colors, and figure out how I could make what I did still fit into the scheme of things. So, the colors that I initially chose were red, white, and pink. Then I decided, in looking at my stash, I have more yellow. And I have something that I want to do with the pink. So then I went with red, white, and yellow. So then as I started working on it, I was like, why not go with the primary colors? That would be so beautiful. So that is why you see it drawn. And I know that looks orange. That was the only pen I could grab to make it come up so I could see it. But imagine the orange is yellow. And I think it would be gorgeous. Now, where you see these yellow corners, that's actually supposed to be the blue. And I didn't realize it until I got 1, 2, almost 3 squares done. That's when I had to go back and reconfigure everything. And I was like, no, we're not starting over. That's not an option. And nowhere in there am I supposed to have 4 whole yellow squares. So I decided to stick with the yellow, and I made square number 4. So then I wanted to advance a little bit, and I decided to make these my corners. I'm just simply replacing the blue corners with the yellow. Everything else stays the same. And that's great because I did square number 5. So I am 5 squares in. Guys, this is a 12-week challenge. If you do the math, 12 times 7 is 84. There are 64 squares. So even if you do a square a day, you have 20 days to put it together. You have 20 days to put it together. And I don't have, because I'm using my phone, but if you look it up, Carpenter's Wheel, and you see when you download the recipe pattern, it will tell you how to put those squares together. Guys, it is so amazing. You know, it's not little pieces and baubles that you have to put together. These are These are squares. There are 64 squares here. So now I am down to only needing 59 more squares. That's another thing that I have to do for me. I have to know the progress. Oh. So I'm super excited about that. I'm happy to share that with you, and I'm happy to be a part of it. So yes, that is there. Okay, the other challenge that I presented to you all last year, and I hope everyone is keeping up with this, and that is to donate 30 minutes a day to organizing. I don't care if it's, deciding that. For me, it's taking the bulk weight off of spring cleaning. I have done things like spend that 30 minutes cleaning out the cabinet under my sink in the bathroom, or reorganizing the shelf of what I call my backstop. Y'all, my bathroom looks like a store. And make sure the body wash, the toothpaste, mouthwash, the lotion, all of that is on that shelf. And that's how we shop. We go there and it's enough there. At the beginning of the year, we try to get enough for the year. Between Christmas and I would say February, we try to get enough for the year. And we just take those things and do our list for next year. If we have to replace as the year goes along, it makes it a lot easier to do the shopping rather than some people, someone calling out, hey, I don't have any body wash. And there are 4 of us in here, guys, and we each have our own body wash, and we each have our own deodorants, and we each have, our own things. But my shelves, we have 5 shelves. Everybody has their own shelf, and we have the community shelf. And of course, underneath, I'm that one that changed. Well, I used to. I've slowed down a lot, but I used to change out my bathroom decor every month. So I have like 20 sets of shower curtains, and they're all lined up very neatly under my sink with the shower hooks that they go on. Blame it on the OCD, guys. So I hope we're keeping up with that 30 minutes. In the long run, it does take away from those larger tasks that we're faced with at different times of year. Now, I want to give out some cookies, cakes, and all that good sweet stuff to some people that have really, really touched me a lot here lately. First of all, I want to shout out Michelle. I don't know how, but Michelle called me one day, and at the moment that she called, I needed to hear her voice. And there was one thing that I needed to hear in what she said that I'm not going to share, it's personal, that I needed to hear. It was a little bit of a spanking to me, but I needed to hear that. I had not said it to anybody. I had not talked about it with anyone. And I'm pretty sure she'll have to replay the conversation to remember what it was she said. And I'm not going to tell her, but I needed that at that moment. And I want to thank her for having the thought to call and following through. I also need to shout out Joan. Guys, that's my wake-up call. That is my reminder. That is my holding me accountable for things that I need and have to do. Because Tuesday when I got off, I told you guys that I would see you Saturday. And right away, I got a message saying, so we're not doing Thursday. And I'm like, yeah, and then I had to replay it in my mind. I was like, I did say Saturday. I forgot. I'm sorry. Blame it on the squirrel brain. And this morning, even in me being out and about, and I know it was a reminder because she reminded me yesterday. And then this morning, she was like, I'll see you in 40 minutes. So, yes, I want to thank John. Now, our video star of the week was Naughty Autistic Granny. I can only call her Granny because that's the only name that I've been given. And guys, when I tell you I've watched all of her videos, she's only been here since June. She's only been on this crocheting journey since April. But the things that she has made, the things that she has accomplished have Oh my goodness, they are absolutely beautiful. And her process, she did a 6-day star blanket, and she, I looked at her when she was on day 42, and the process that she went through and how she would not allow herself to give up. And she talks about the autism, and she talks about the ADHD, but she talks about it in a way that's informative and, not drudging. And it's refreshing to see. I have run across a lot of people in the community who are ADHD. If you know, I got a lot of alphabets behind my name, and my OCD and anxiety were triggered by the PTSD, or came as a result. And I know you have zero idea, and it's fine. It's fine. But it was triggered by the PTSD, and I don't like to stay in that dark space, which brings me to the next part of what I have to say is, guys, when we're going through stressful situations, we, as being created creatures, have been gifted the ability to make decisions. So we can decide whether we're going to stay in that space or not. Now, granted, I'm not saying this for everybody. This is only for those that it applies to. We can decide to stay in that space, or we can decide to take ourselves out of that mental head space so that we can focus on what we have to do otherwise. It's not a fun place to be, guys. It really is not. Here it is. It is all working out. And that's all I got to say about that part. So the other day, when all of this trauma started, my daughter and I were talking about an individual in our lives. And she said the old adage, hurt people hurt people. And I thought about it as she was saying it, and I was like, I have to disagree a little bit, because that's not always true. I think that hurt people who have not acknowledged their own hurt people. But hurt people who are in touch with their hurt don't want to impose that on anybody else. So not all hurt people, but hurt people who don't know they're hurt, or who will not acknowledge the fact that they hurt, will hurt people more than people who acknowledge their hurt. That's a lot of hurt in this. Come on, guys, you gotta smile at that moment, because who else can take the word hurt and laugh about it? Come on now. Okay, so I now have hook in hand. Y'all, I had to ride past Michael's today. I don't think you heard what I said. I had to ride past Michael's today. I didn't shed tears. I didn't. But it was kind of hurtful that I had to go by and couldn't go in. And you know why I had to ride past Michael's today and couldn't go in and look at anything? Because you all are more important. Y'all, I got to backtrack a little bit. I have to go back to Naughty Autistic Granny. So in making her the video star of the week, of course, she was tagged in the video, and she went back and she looked at it. Guys, she reached out. Kitty, hurt people who are hurting hurt people, healing people who are questing to improve, never try to hurt people. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. That's true. That's true. But when we get into the depth of it, you'll understand exactly where I'm coming from. But back to Granny. So she watched the video, guys, and she reached out to me. And the very first line was, "Why are you so stinking sweet?" Guys, that filled my heart so much when people, I'm looking for the words, and I'm looking for them too. But when someone, I don't want to use the word praises, but I know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so if I put it out there that I think this person is really, really special or really, really sweet, or like in this situation, you ought to check out her channel because she's like awesome. Like I do for Michelle, like I do for Lori, Juan, Mama C, all of these people come back and at least say thank you. And even though I'm not really looking for it, it makes you feel really good when, that's what I'm trying to say, when they see you. It's that simple. When they thank you, recognizes, thank you, thank you. I was struggling. That is the word. But yes, just the fact that they see you and they see that you see them, that that means so much. That was the part that I had kind of skipped over. So now we're getting to the fun part of the day. The curiosities, the questions. I got the questions. Okay, so if you are neurodivergent, how has crocheting affected your condition? Or how has your condition affected your crocheting? And you can also put in crafting with that because I understand not everybody crochets. I know for me, like I tell you my journey all the time. I came up in an era when there was no such thing as ADHD or hyperactivity. Those diagnoses had not been invented yet. We were busybodies. We had ants in our pants. We just couldn't be still. Overactive, not hyperactive. I'm trying to think of some more words other than the reprimands of sit down somewhere, be quiet for 5 minutes. But my babysitter recognized that there was an issue, and her way to rectify it was to busy my hands, not just my hands, but my mind. And she got me into crocheting where I had to focus on what I was doing. And I had to make something beautiful based on my focus. Okay, I understand. I understand. If I remember, I'm going to tell you something about laundry before we leave. Um, so I know that crocheting, crafting, all that, because she didn't only teach me crochet. She taught me how to make the pot holders with the little plastic loom and the little long and the big wire thing. She taught me how to do that. She taught me how to latch hook. She taught me how to, I don't know if you all remember I call them popcorn rain bonnets. Zoila! How are you? Please, please stay safe. Please stay safe. But yeah, I don't know if you remember the popcorn rain bonnets. It was just a piece of cloth covered in plastic with a little piece of elastic going around to hold it tight to your head. And it looked like a piece of popcorn. It looked like this big piece of popcorn sitting on top of your head, but it was the little rain bonnet. She used to make those, and she taught me how to make those. She tried teaching me how to make those, rather. I I know how to sew, and if I have to, I can make something presentable, not knock out gorgeous. I can't, and I'm not going to say I can't. I will not allow myself, my brain will not allow myself to create the way I create in crocheting. Crocheting has become my passion, my breath, my heartbeat. Um, it's so much a part of me. I sleep with yarn. No joke. So in 2026, what are your scrap and stash plans? And if you can, drop that note in the comment box. Drop that just so we can see what everybody is planning on doing with their stash or their scraps. I chose to get involved with the blanket challenges to try to bust my scraps, to try to go through my scraps. Um, and that was the focus on making the smaller squares or the 12-inch squares and just put those together. But when I saw the Carpenter's Wheel Challenge, I was like, hey, I can go beyond the scraps and I can get into some of these full balls and full skeins that I have. And I am so proud of myself because in looking for everything, the colors and everything, I have not purchased any yarn for any of these. And I'm proud of myself for that. I am really proud of myself for that. Crochet, Bibi says crochet relaxes me. Crochet is very relaxing. I tend to make it not so relaxing sometimes when I over challenge myself. And I'm really good at doing that. I'm really, oh my goodness. Joan and Michelle can tell you, and Marsha can tell you, Michelle knows that I suffer from startitis. Yes, I do. And one thing that never really satisfied me before, and that was the quick fix thing, the making something real quick and simple, so that you could have that sense of completion. Because I generally make a list of things that I want to do throughout the year, um, I just count that as items that are taken off the list. It's not necessarily a euphoric feeling that I get from completing those. It's just one more thing taken off the list. Now, when I go back and look at the list and see that the list is shorter, then I'm happy with that, but it's not per product, per project. And yes, BB Amigurumi has proven to me more than a few times that it is my enemy. But I keep trying. I keep trying. I do. But Amigurumi and I can sit on opposite sides of the football field. They can be the Washington Commanders, and I will happily stay Dallas Cowboys all day. And will. Yes. I know that I can be hard on myself, Joan. I can be, but that's what motivates me. That's what keeps me going. Because when I'm, and it probably, not probably, it does have a lot to do with my upbringing. My mother was hard on me. My mother, taught me to never be satisfied. Because once you're satisfied, it's like, what is there left to do? You can change directions and go somewhere else, but how do you know that you've gained your full potential on the path that you're on if you allow yourself to be, if this path is 32 steps and each step gets harder and harder, and you say, if I make it to step 8, I'm fine, and you get to step 8 and stop, how do you know that you could not have been that person that made it to step 32 if you don't push yourself, if you don't keep going? And that's why I'm so hard on me. That is exactly why I am so hard on me. I'm talking too much. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody across the board will say, yes. Simple question. Does your crocheting travel with you? Absolutely not, BB. I love you, but around. I am DC for life. And I don't mean the capital. Exactly, Zola C. Zola Joan. Yes. The crochet has to go with me. I have bags that are preset. I have one that goes with me to the doctor's office, my doctor's office. I have one that goes with me to other appointments. When I went to the store today, I had a skein of yarn in my basket and a hook attached to my bag, just in case I had to sit in line and wait. And that was just a quick trip to the bank. When I'm going over to, even when I'm going to Walmart, I will make sure I carry a big enough piece that they can't say, and I don't carry extra yarn. But I know when I'm sitting in the checkout line that I'm not going to be just sitting there. Might as well work on something. So yeah, I'm really bad at that, or good at that, or however you choose to see it. Okay. Do you have more than one craft? I do. I'm a puzzler. I love jigsaw puzzles. Um, exactly, BB. Exactly. Crafts that I want to learn. I want to learn beading because I want to create my own stitch markers, but I want to do it by way of beads. And I have the whole thing lined up and in line. It's just that I have to um, acquire the proper supplies. I have the beads, I have the cord, but I need the right kind of fastener, and I need to work out exactly how I want to do it. It's very crochet related. Like I said, there's stitch markers. But yeah, yeah. So that's an idea of mine that I've been rolling around in my head for a couple of years now. It's just try watercolor, paint, scrapbooking, beading. There is no such thing as too many crafts. There is no such thing as too many crafts. No. I told you I puzzle. You know I crochet. I am wanting to learn how to bead. I recently picked up knitting. Guys, I'm doing this. Did I frog what I had up here before? I sure did. I sure did. And BB, if you got paper and pencil, you can draw. Um, I'm a puzzler in other senses too. I love, I don't want to say it right, Sudoku puzzles. Oh my God, diamond darts. I love Sudoku puzzles. I love word finds. Uh, I will do crosswords. I'm not a big fan of those. However, I do love cross sums. Cross sums, yes. Stitch marker obsession. Well, then you'll love what I have in mind. You will absolutely love what I have in mind, BB. Absolutely. Um, yeah, there are a lot of crafts out there that I enjoy. But what I wanted to say was directed to BB. Um, Sometimes I create my own Sudoku puzzles. Okay, John. Sudoku. Sudoku. Gotcha. Um, I create my own Sudoku puzzles, my own word finds. Uh, I haven't gotten good at creating the cross sums yet, but yeah. I'm laughing at you, John. Is Sudoku is not as hard as it's made to look. If you just remember that each row, each column, each box cannot duplicate numbers. And I usually start with the box that has the least amount of numbers in it. So if it's an empty box, it's perfect for me. It is. Video games, yes, absolutely. I play the video games that pay, even though they only pay like a couple of cents. And my goal each day is to make $1 for that day. That extra $30 a month it's amazing to me. So those are the video. And in that, I'm playing Mahjong, I'm playing Yahtzee, Dominoes, Spider Solitaire, and just downloaded Blocks Blitz, y'all. I think I'm hooked on Box Blitz. I think I am. Box Blitz is a lot like Tetris. And Nintendo Tetris. Who remembers? Y'all, I beat the game so many times. I beat it so many times. But I absolutely I love, love, love. It's a form of puzzling. I absolutely love it. Okay, so y'all don't do Sudoku. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay, if you could blend multiple crafts, which ones would you blend? Like crocheting and knitting, crow knitting, or latch hook and crochet, I think they call that. Crooking, if I'm not mistaken. Looming and crochet. Macrame and crochet. I I'm throwing crochet in everything. I guess what my craft is. Or like, okay, sewing and latch hook. Have you thought about doing those things? There's some people that do like patchwork. I don't know. It's patchwork. I don't even know what the craft is called. Okay, like craft. I say bedazzling, like rhinestones and those types of things. Um, I have thought of dream catchers, but not using string. My daughter and I thought about using the hard sand, the sand and that acrylic, that hard acrylic, to make dream catchers. Coloring is fun. Adult coloring is amazing. And I say adult coloring because what I've noticed here lately, and yes, I do have coloring books. What I've noticed here lately in a lot of the kids' coloring books now, it's extremely intricate. They like Cinderella's gown, and they put up there 3+ in age. I don't think I'm 3 yet. I don't think I'm 3 yet. No. Because when I see each one of those little pearls around her neck, I'm not gonna color each one of them little circles. I'm not gonna do it. No. I look for the big pictures. But I do appreciate a good mandala. Did I say that right? I hope I did. If not, please correct me. I don't mind being corrected. Not at all. But yeah, and since I understand that, not necessarily books, coloring on things, my table that I used to use to record from, my kids like to color on those. Y'all, funny story. When my children were coming up, before I started accruing so many kids, they had bunk beds in the back bedroom. And of course, Melvin, being the boy and older, was up top. He was 6, Jen was 3. And Melvin, of course, on the top bunk, and such a drawer. I walk in the room one night and I see all of these pictures drawn on my ceiling. And I'm like, Melvin. And he's like, Jennifer did it. He didn't even come to me. He's just yelling, Jennifer did it. I'm like, what am I talking about? He said, all of those pictures on the ceiling, Jennifer did it. I'm like, okay. Let's use the process of elimination here. Does Jennifer sleep on the top bunk? No. Do I allow Jennifer to crawl to the top bunk or climb to the top bunk? No. Is Jennifer the tallest person in the house? No. So who logically has access to the ceiling? I do. So why are you drawing on my ceiling? So he knew he was busted. He knew he was busted when I called his name. So then I go back and I look at the pictures and I was like, not bad. But the next time you need to do this to Batman's wing and you need to do this to Superman and then Spider-Man, what you want to do. I didn't fuss, but it took away his desire to continue drawing on the ceiling. It's called reverse psychology. Make them think it's okay. Kids love to do what they're not supposed to do. That's why I tell my kids when they get in here and they start keeping all that noise at night, we start talking loud with them. Their volume comes down. It does. During the day, you can hardly hear those little boogers. And as soon as nighttime comes, they crank up. So we crank up too. Absolutely. We crank up too. And then they put on the cruise control and first they bring it down and then they put on the cruise control. Okay. If you had the opportunity to create and or name your own yarn, what brand would it be? What weight would it be? And what would the name of your yarn or your colorways be? How many colorways would it? All the good stuff. What would be happening? Mine would have Kitty in it somewhere. I fell in love with my nickname. While y'all thinking about the answer to that one, I'm going to tell you how I got my nickname. So, for the longest time, I thought my name was Baby. My family always, family, friends, neighbors, everybody always referred to me as the Baby. That's why I feel like the rapper stole my name. He just changed the to duh. But anyway, when I was in first grade and we were asked to, now mind you, I am a kindergartner in first grade. Everybody in my class is 6 and older, and I'm going on 5. So Miss Southall asked us to write our names, and I wrote Baby. And she says, that is cute. Joan, you are so funny. Don't laugh at yourself. It would not be Fred. But she told me that I had to have a name. Baby was, she didn't say a term of endearment, but the word that she used meant that. So I was like, okay. I went home and I asked my mom what was my name. And she told me, your name is Catherine Teresa Lane Hodges II. And I said, wow, that's a lot. So, okay. Okay, tell him you're talking. Tell him you in the den talking to Kitty and the crew. So, I learned how to spell my name, and then, of course, came the other nicknames. And mind you all, I'm from North Carolina. In North Carolina, your middle name is going to be Ann. If it's not your name. I had a set of cousins that lived across the corner who always called me Miss Ann. So when I learned that my name was Catherine and my family was calling me Kathy, I politely told them, my name is Kathy. So then they started calling me Kathy Ann. Now, it's bad enough that I got 2 middle names, Teresa Lane. They are officially and legally my middle names, Teresa Lane. And it bugs the fire out of me when people ask me for my middle names and they only allow, or a middle initial, and they only allow one. But I have created a way that I can have both of my initials. You write my first name out, space, and then the capital letter of my first middle name, T. And then on the middle initial line, you put the L and then my last name. It works. It works. But all of that to say, I went through a series of nicknames coming up. Lavender Cotton Candy, Baby Girl, Sweet Thing, Little Miss Peaches. Didn't stick so much with the cat. That didn't stick too much. I did have a friend that called me Kay. He's the only person who has ever called me Kay. And then I got married. When I got married, I'm back in the chat for a second. We'll stay. Okay. So when I got married, my husband used to tell me, we were young, we argued a lot. And he said to me one day, he said, I'm going to stop calling you Cat. Because cats scratch and bite, and you don't. You just yell a lot. So I'm going to call you Kitty. You haven't graduated the cat yet. And the kitty stuck. And he came up to my job one day and he called me Kitty in front of everybody. And they all knew that I was from North Carolina. So then I had the long nickname, Kitty Hawk from North Carolina. Guys, that stuck with me for years. That stuck with me for years, like well past the 30s. I was in my 40s when we decided to drop all the other stuff, and I was just Kitty. Then I was catching all the Gunsmoke jokes. Oh, Miss Kitty, where's Marshall Dillon? Where is Festus? And I'm like, really, guys? And each person is saying it like they think they're the first person that said it. No. Then I got introduced to spoken word in 2010, and I wanted to be different. So I started spelling my name Kittee, and everything that ended in Y became EE, and everything that started with a hard C became a K. And that's how we get where we are. Yep. And I decided to use my second middle name, Lane. So that's how I became Kitty Lane. Now you have it. So my brand would have, my yarn would have my name. It would be, I think I'd have 3 weights: DK worsted and what's the one called chunky, but not super chunky. Um, my colorways would be hard primary and secondary colors and soft blends, like pastel blends. Um, those are the colors that attract me the most. The more vibrant the color it is, the more drawn to it I am. I like muted colors if they're muted properly. I don't like ashy looking colors. Like I have a brown over there that looks ashy, and I'm not attracted to that at all. Purple is my favorite color. Purple, when it came to blending colors, I think I'd find a way to put purple in everything. But that's what mine would be. Yes, absolutely. But guys, I think I have covered everything. Oh, there is one more thing I want to tell you. So I recently got commissioned to make a headband. And I sat around here and I dreamed about it last night. And I was like, Lord, I really don't want to have to buy any yarn. And she wanted coral and light gray. And in looking today, I happened to find this gray. And then when I got up to look for something, I found an even lighter gray. And I think this gray would be absolutely perfect with this. And all she wants is a simple headband. So I have plenty. I have plenty to make that for. So that's going to get made today. And I will be showing you that. I'm going to get back to my carpenter's wheel and get on my grandson's blanket and the other green blanket that I have and possibly finish his sweater today. I don't know. I don't know. And it's not Ladybird, Hadija, right? Am I right? Please tell me I'm right. Please tell me I'm right. I'm looking. But welcome in. Please, please, please go back and check out the replay. We've had fun today. And some of the questions. Really? Yay! I remembered. I'm super excited, y'all. But we have reached that time. I appreciate you all for you all's patience and me coming in a tad bit late. I thank each one of you for your well wishes with everything that we're going through. But you can see, I did not give you my health meter today. My mood meter is probably about a 9. My health meter is probably right there with it because I refuse to let the down things that we're going through keep me down. We just got to fight our way through. And that's what we're going to do. But you guys want you to always remember that I love you. But more importantly than that, I want you to remember to love yourselves. Self-love is so key. We have to love ourselves. When you look in that mirror, recognize how beautiful you are. Recognize the star that you are. Know that you are loved, not only by others, but by yourself. Okay? Until we see each other again on these YouTube streets. Peace out, everybody. I love you guys.